It's an election unlike any other. In the middle of a pandemic, voters across the Commonwealth and the U.S. will finish picking a president and other office holders next Tuesday. More people have already cast ballots earlier through the mail than ever before. So who's keeping track of it all? I'm joined now by Virginia's Commissioner of Elections, Chris Piper, with more on where we are 8 days out. Commissioner, thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
I know you're the busiest person in the state right now. What is it like planning for rather elaborate elections during a pandemic?
It's been a unique year, but I think we're not alone in that. I'm inspired by the election officials across the Commonwealth and the amount of work that they've done. We've seen a lot of folks sign up as election officers. So it's actually been a hard year, but an inspiring year.
So if you look back a year ago, as you were starting to gear up for 2020, you got the big presidential election, the Senate race here in Virginia, et cetera, you never could possibly have foreseen, oh, and by the way, you're going to have to do everything kind of remotely, or you're going to have this whole sort of ad hoc set of regulations.
Right, yeah, none of this could have been anticipated. The good news is that Virginia was somewhat preparing. The General Assembly this year removed the excuse for early absentee voting, and so that has helped us tremendously being prepared for that.
And do you see that as permanent going forward?
That law is permanent. It was passed in the regular General Assembly session.
So those will stay. Now, there's still a lot going on between now and, first of all, Saturday, early in-person voting ends, obviously until next Tuesday, 8 days away. Still a lot of moving parts here. But are you satisfied with where Virginia's election systems and security is right now? Are there any issues that you're thinking about, things that keep you up late at night?
Well, no, I mean, what's been amazing is just as of yesterday, we had 1.9 million voters. That's almost 50% of what turned out in 2016. And we're seeing those numbers continue to go up. So we're seeing a lot of positive situations there. As far as election security, we worked, for the past 4 years to get ready for this particular election, but all elections. And I feel very, very confident about how we are situated from a security posture at this point.
Well, and you hear there is so much information out there, so much misinformation and disinformation, which would seem to be deliberate, whether it's a domestic or foreign or whoever. But how does your office, is there any way to be proactive about that kind of thing? How do you stay ahead of what might be a terrible rumor that suddenly is catching like wildfire because social media is everywhere? Right.
So first of all, communications between the different levels of government. So we have great partnerships with our friends at the DHS, Department of Homeland Security, as well as the FBI, and then here at the state level with the state police and the Fusion Center, et cetera. We've made really strong partnerships and that communication. But not just that. We have strong communication paths with the Facebook and the other social media companies like Twitter. So we, as soon as misinformation is reported to us, we can get that out to them as well.
Well, and it was just last week that we heard from federal officials that Iran and Russia had actually made efforts to penetrate voter databases. Is that of concern that these bad foreign actors are constantly probing for weaknesses in the computer system?
Well, actually, what's of more concern is that information that was stolen was actually publicly available. And so it's not that there was anything that was wrong. It was just the appearance that there was. And so we have to be, communicating very strongly about what is real and what is not real. Our systems are secure. You can trust the integrity of the election in the Commonwealth of Virginia.
That's true, because if it casts a doubt, that's already a small victory for them. If all of a sudden they can make you think, well, gee, what? So it's good to hear that is, in fact, not that significant in that regard. So as far as the absentee ballots and the early voting, tell us, election night, 7 o'clock, what's going to happen with the 1.9 million early votes that you've already amassed? What happens at 7 o'clock on election night?
Well, in some ways, it'll be very familiar. You'll start to see the precinct results coming in as they have for years. The difference is we have so far 1.9 million votes that have already been cast in Virginia, and that number will continue to go up through Saturday. So what we've asked the registrars to do is to continue counting the mail-in ballots that have been received, and at 11 o'clock we're going to cut it off. And what you'll see is a big data dump, and a lot of all this in-person voting, all of that information will be posted to our website, and we expect a good portion of our votes to already have been cast. That said, Virginia allows ballots to be returned up till Friday at noon. So as long as they're postmarked by Election Day.
They'll still be trickling in. Commissioner Chris Piper, thank you so much, sir, for your good work and for inspiring confidence in Virginia's elections. Appreciate you coming in.
Appreciate it. Thank you.